Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute. I'm gonna get y'all caught up in just a second. I'm out of breath. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just walked from one building to the other, and then you have to walk up a hill, then I had to walk back down the hill to get to my car. But today's Tuesday, so happy Tuesday. It is June the 13th. It is 9:18 in the morning. I got to work at like 7:50. We had morning meeting at 9, which lasted about 15 minutes. I walked up here to get my stuff because I have to go pick up my dog and take her to the vet and get her some vaccines. And then she's been scratching a lot. I think she may have ticks. I'm not sure, but when I looked at her skin last night, I only found one, but I think that's why she's been scratching. She's been going outside with the kids in the backyard, and I think she may have gotten a tick on her. So I'm gonna take her to the vet to get vaccines and to let them see if she does have ticks and to give her the treatment for that. Other thing I have to do is drop some stuff off at Kohl's. It's an Amazon return, so I'm gonna do that. But let me go ahead and start driving. I wanted to talk to you guys about where I've been. I wanted to do a sit down video and talk about it because I felt like y'all deserve that. I have like 500 and something subscribers, and I've had people comment on like my last video or some of my older videos and ask where I've been, what happened, and what have you. Ask me where you been, how is school going, how did the program go, all of those things. And so I figured now is a really good time to let y'all know what happened. I wanted to film a whole sit down situation, but it looks like I won't have the time to do that. I'm never really home by myself to do it. And then on the days that I was at home by myself, I would find other stuff to do. So now that I'm in the car and I'm going to get my dog and run a couple errands before my job actually starts, before I have to do what I need to do for the day, I thought on my way I would just talk to y'all about what happened, what I'm doing now, where I live, all those things. So anyways, welcome back. If you've never met me before, never seen any of my videos, never seen my face before, I'm Kiki. Thank you for stopping by this video. Thank you for watching. I started posting videos a couple years ago about my nursing journey. I did a nursing journey video, how I became an LPN, where I lived, the places that I've worked, and how I got started. And then I also posted videos of like me in nursing school. It was my second time in the program, all the things that I had to do to get into the program that I was in North Carolina. And then another video, I was starting at a hospital on a med-surg tele floor. I was doing all the things that I thought I needed to do to be the best nurse that I could be. And so just to recap, I was in a program in 2020. I've been in multiple programs, okay? But the one program that I really put out on this channel was a program in North Carolina that I was in 2020. I was unsuccessful in the first semester. I failed by a hair. And so I had to drop out, and then I had to reapply, in which they gave me another chance, and I was accepted back in 2021. So I did a video about that as well. So unfortunately to say, I failed out of the program again, and I made it through the first semester. I made it to the second semester, and I failed. So let me tell you about how I failed. So in this particular program in North Carolina, it was a bridge program. So you bridge from LPN to RN, and it was a year long. So it was roughly 12 and a half, almost 13 months. And so you bridge, so you take certain classes that, the way it was set up, it was heavily based on your LPN experience and your LPN experience at work, and most importantly in school. So if you went to an accredited program, especially if you went to the LPN program at this particular school, which I did not, but my LPN experience wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't like amazing. So I did find myself knowing a lot of the things, but a lot of stuff I did not know, just because I went to an accelerated program And I feel like a lot of the stuff that they taught at this particular school, if you had gone there as an LPN, it was easier to grasp, right? So I struggled with that. But I did very well in the first semester, my second time around, because I had already done it. So when the second semester came, I was doing great. So how I failed was, at this school, you had to have an 80% to pass, or like a 79.5 was the least you could get, and then they would round you up. You couldn't have a 79.45, a 79.47, a 79.49, none of that. It had to be 79.5, right? So we were taking ATI exams. If you've been in nursing school, then I'm sure you're familiar with ATI. We were taking ATI exams. So I did okay the whole second semester, right? Well, so the first test I failed. I got it like a 77. And I tried to change up my studying tactics. I tried to read over the material before class. I did practice questions. I studied as a group with people that were in my class. I did everything I could do. And so the second and third test, I did better. I think we only had like 4 tests and like 3 quizzes and then your ATI. So it wasn't a lot of stuff that made up your grade. And I think we had like one project. And with the project, I got like a 97. But the project was only worth 1% of your grade, if I remember correctly. The project was only worth like 1%. So, I remember it distinctly. It was December. It was the end of the second semester. Come on. Get over it. Come on. It was the end of the second semester. And we had already taken like most of all the tests. The only thing we had left was the ATI and the final exam. The ATI was care of the child. I studied my ass off for this care of the child because I said I want to do well on this ATI, so I can just solely focus on my final exam, right? Now the final exam was comprehensive, so it was questions. It wasn't the same questions, but it was questions just like the ones we had taken on previous exams. And if you've ever taken a test in nursing school, you know there's a right answer and then there's the right answer, like the most correct answer. And so I did great on the ATI care of the child. I got like a 98 or something like that. And I was so proud of myself. So the next week comes, I'm studying for the final exam. It's comprehensive, so of course I'm nervous. Take the final exam. I get a 78 on the exam. And I was like, oh my God, I failed it. And so my grade had, and mind you, I started off the semester with a grade of a 70 something. I started off failing because I got a 77 on the first test, or so I got in the 70s range. So that was the first exam. You don't have a lot of grades that goes in, you know what I mean? So it was hard to bring my grade back up, but I had brought my grade up from a 70 something all the way to like an 82. So when I took this ATI, it didn't boost my grade up much because it was only like 1% or something like that. So when I got a 98 on the ATI, it boosted my grade up. I had like an 82.25 or something like that, right? But the final exam weighs more. The final exam is like probably half your grade, or it was something like that. It was a heavy weighted grade. And so because I got like a 78 on it, it dropped my test score down to a 79.43, or like a 79.47, something like that. So I failed the second semester, and then so we had a second chance to take the ATI, right? Because in this program they let you take the ATI twice. So I had a second chance to take it. But when I talked to my professor, she was like, you got such a high score the first time. She's like, even if you got 100, it wouldn't be enough to boost your grade to passing. And y'all, when she told me that, my heart sunk. So she was like, in actuality, you should have failed it the first time. She's like, you should have failed your ATI, got one more question right on your final exam, and then took your ATI the second time and passed it. And I was like, and she was like, and that would have gave you the 80% that you needed. And I was like, why would you tell me to intentionally fail a test, do great on the final, and then have to take the ATI again? Like that whole thing just kind of took me for a loop. I was so sad. I was sad, y'all, for like a month. Like I cried. I beat myself up about it. I was like, and the crazy part is, like, it was the end of the semester. It was like right around, like, I think the end of the semester was like December 14th. December 15th, something like that. So it was the end of the semester. It was just, it was real hard for me. Like, Christmas was coming up. I had to focus on, you know, I tried to focus on like getting my kids Christmas gifts and trying to make it a very special Christmas, but deep down inside I was hurt, y'all. I was hurt like hell. And then I found out like you can't reapply because it was my second time in the program, and if you wanted to reapply to that particular program, you had to wait 5 years. Well, I don't know anybody that's like, oh yeah, I wait 5 years and go back to that school. Like, girl, no, go to another school. So it was very hurtful. And the one thing that really hurt me the most was I had just interviewed for an ICU position at the hospital that I was working at, the same hospital I was doing med-surg tele. I had just interviewed for, I had applied, they told us to give our top 5. So I chose ICU, post-ICU. I chose the cardiac floor. And then I chose the NICU, and then I chose the floor I was already on, because the floor I was already on, they had offered me a position as well. But I interviewed with the ICU, and they loved me, and they were like, you are exactly what we're looking for. Like, you're eager, you've been an LPN for a long time, like you've taken care of patients. She was like, and we can teach you how to be an ICU nurse. The interview went so great. We were in there having a good time. And like a week before the final exam, like a couple days before the final exam, they had called me and offered me the ICU position. It was a ICU new grad residency position. And they were like, yeah, so once you start, 3 months after you start, we're going to pay for you to get your bachelor's degree. And you can finish out your year or however long you want to work here. And then you can move on, you know, like to another floor. Like, it was great. And then the good thing about it was the hospital was going to pay for your last semester in nursing school. So you didn't need to come out of pocket for anything. Like, if you needed new books, if you needed new study materials, uniforms, shoes, everything, the hospital was going to pay for it. And so, you know, it seemed like a great thing that I was getting myself into. And then I failed the last semester. And so all of that stuff just went away. And that was really sad for me. And I was embarrassed because it was my second time in the program. You know, everybody around me thinks I'm just this great nurse and I'm very smart, especially like my husband. I feel like I let him down because since we've been together, I've been in school. We've been married for almost 12 years in August. And I've been in school off and on since we met. Like, when I met him, I was 20 years old and I was in college. And so it felt like I really let him down because he really sacrificed a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was helping me pay for it. He was trying to be as supportive as he could. And the fact that I like failed the exam, it's not like I failed it on purpose and I didn't study and all those things. It's just that the way they worded the questions were very tricky. And, you know, I felt like I failed myself and I failed everybody around me. So, but anyway, so I was sad for like the whole month of December. January came, school started again, and there was nothing. I did appeal because I felt like that it wasn't fair. I just felt like something wasn't fair. And so they did look at the grades again. They did look at the questions. They wouldn't give me the extra point that I needed, the extra question that I needed, because I wasn't the only one that got it, like one of the questions wrong. Because a lot of the questions they will throw out if multiple people got them wrong. But it was like me and like maybe 2 other people that got the question wrong. But those other 2 people passed the test. And it was me and like 2 other folks that failed like the whole semester. So when the time came for school starts again, I was very sad about that. And then when May came around and everybody was graduating, I was sad about that. And so I just reached out to everybody and just told them, like, I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all finally made it. Like, y'all did this wonderful thing. But it really hurt that I couldn't graduate with my class. So we made the decision to move to Texas. I moved back home. So that's where I'm living now. I do live in Dallas. We made the decision in January to move. So I ended up working. I had my full-time job that I worked Monday through Friday. And then I was still working at the hospital on the weekends full-time. And I did that for like 2 months full-time. And then it started to be too much. So then I went PRN at the hospital. I still had my full-time Monday through Friday job. And then I started working with the agency on the weekends. So there was this facility out in Lincoln that was like an hour away from me. And so I would work my Monday through Friday. And then Friday night I would go work at the facility through the agency. I congratulated everybody, told them I was proud of them and I wished I could have been there to be a part of it. And they responded with, we miss you, and you know, don't give up, like give yourself some time and find another program. And they were really supportive. They were very supportive of me, and I was supportive of them. And so we decided we were gonna move. I was like, well, and the thing is, we had decided to move, but we hadn't like found a place yet. So I was like, well, you know what, if we end up not finding a place in time before our lease is up, we might as well just stay and let me finish another year of school and see if I could really like try to do this. So I applied to another school that was like in the same area as that school, and I got accepted. And it was a program that it was a school that I had been to before, so I was familiar, and I actually had got accepted from both of these schools at the same time, and I chose the other school. So place to live here yet, and if you've been trying to rent a house or anything anywhere, to be honest, it's been really hard. It's been really hard to find something. It's 203 Merchants Row. Okay, cool. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get myself together, child. Okay. But yeah, if you've been trying to like rent a place to live, especially like a house here in the Dallas area, first of all, everything is expensive. Secondly, places be gone like within a day or so. So that's what we were running into. It was so hard to find places to rent. Sorry, y'all. It was so hard to find a place to rent, and so we were looking on Zillow, we were looking on Realtor.com, we were looking on Apartments.com, looking everywhere to find rental homes, because we were moving from an apartment and we didn't want to do an apartment anymore. And so we were trying our best to find a place, and it just seemed like every place that we were looking into was either already like signed a contract and they were getting ready to take it off the market, or it had just posted but they had some people going to look at it and the people had money in hand. So it was very hard. So I had applied to that school just in case, you know, we were going to renew our lease and stay for another year, and I got accepted. And then finally I had the house where we live now. I was at work and I had done like everything I needed to do for the day. I had got done early that day, and so I was on the phone with my mom, and I was like, let me just get on Zillow and look. And when I looked, I saw one that was right in the area where we wanted to stay, and he had just posted it like 2 minutes before. So I ended up calling him and asking him, was it available? He was like, yeah, I just posted it. I was like, okay. I was like, I will fly out tomorrow to see this house, sign the lease, I have the money in hand. And that's exactly what I did. I came out here. I had saw the house on a Thursday. I left on a Friday night. I got a plane ticket real quick, left on a Friday night, came out here that Friday night. My brother picked me up from the airport. I stayed at his house, and then that morning he drove me over where we live at to see the house. Now the house is old. It was built like in the 70s. I think it was built in the 70s, and then they remodeled it like in the early 2000s. So it is an older home. It just needed like a little love, a little paint, and we pulled it together. So that's where we live now. But thank God we found a place. So once we found that place, I called the school and I talked to the advisor, and I was just like, I'm moving back home to Texas. I was like, so I don't want to take up a spot for someone who really wants to be in this program. And to be honest with you, I had lost all hope in nursing school. Like, I was just like, it's not meant for me to be a registered nurse. Maybe I should just be happy with where I am. And it just wasn't meant to be, it seemed like. So like I said, I ended up working with the agency. So my Monday through Friday check, I used to my full-time job check, I used to pay bills. And then you know, I will put some of it aside. And then my agency check, that whole check went into a savings for our move. So we ended up saving like close to $12,000. And we ran through that pretty fast because we got scammed by a moving company. Child, we spent like we spent like two grand on a moving company that pretty much scammed us, okay? And that's a whole nother video. So do your research if you do your research if you're gonna be looking into a moving company. But so we ended up having to get a U-Haul, put all of our stuff on the U-Haul. Some of our stuff went to storage. It was a long process. We ended up driving 2 days from South Carolina to Texas, and then we stayed. So we ended up moving out by the end of June. So it's coming up on a year that we have lived here. And then the weekend of the 4th of July, we ended up flying back to South Carolina, me and my husband. We flew back to South Carolina, and then because we left his truck to pick up his truck and a couple of other things, and then we ended up driving 2 days back again. And honestly, moving back home hasn't been at all what I thought it was going to be, but it has honestly been a blessing because it got me uncomfortable. I've met friends and stuff like that, and it has truly taught me a lesson in a lot of ways. It has challenged my marriage. It has challenged my parenting. It has challenged everything about me, my nursing skills, everything. And so when I was going through it, of course, I was like, I should have stayed where I was at. But now that I have a different outlook on things, I can tell that it was something that was for the best. Like, I had to go through that stuff so I could become a better, well-rounded person, if you get what I'm saying. So anyways, that's how I ended up back in Dallas. Now what I do now is I'm still an LPN, a LVN in Texas. So I am still that. It's been 9.5 years since I've done that. Since I've been an LPN, and I was hoping by the time I moved back home I would be a registered nurse, but I'm not, and that's okay. So now what I do is, when I first got here, I took a job with a home health company making 50, which they posted as $50 an hour, but it's more so $50 a visit. And so I quickly found that out, and I didn't have like a work car that I was comfortable enough with driving around all over the place and putting a lot of miles on my new car. And so I ended up going PRN, and then I ended up not even working PRN for a long time. So I sent my equipment back to them. Like, they provided me with a computer and all types of stuff. I sent everything back to them. So I no longer work with them. And then I took a floor nurse position at another, like a LTAC almost, but that didn't last long either. The pay was okay, but it just was poorly ran. It was a new facility, and it was just poorly ran. The management was very terrible. They didn't have any structure or anything. The DON was this very nice, nasty person, and it was just a lot of issues. And it was from 6 to 6. It was every other weekend. And I just did not enjoy working there. I felt like I did not belong. And I really didn't like that for myself. I just felt like I did not belong there. And I know some people can relate, like when you've taken a job, you just be like, oh, I'm not gonna be here long. Like that's how it felt. But I needed something that was more so me, something that I was used to. Like, I'm used to being a floor nurse, used to being a charge nurse. So I went back to what I knew to kind of get my money up, because doing the home health thing, you would literally have to drive around all day and drive really far just to make good money, and I just did not like that. I know not all places are like that, but this particular company, they were like that, and I would have to drive all the way from like Cedar Hill all the way out to Balch Springs just to get like some really good mileage money, be there for an hour and drive all the way back. To me, it just wasn't worth it. So I ended up quitting there, going to the LTAC, worked there for like 2 months, and then I took a ADON position at the facility that I work at now. The ADON position was great. It was salary, but it got to the point where I was always working on call, and I didn't get paid for on call hours because they said it was built into my salary. I didn't like that, because there was a time where I worked like 120 hours, and I only got paid for 80. I don't like that, because the time away from my family and the time I have to spend at work, and I only get a little $2,000 check when I should have got a $4,000 check. Oh, goodbye, not doing it. So I was like, get somebody else to do it. So I put in my 2-week notice. And I actually had another job lined up. It was a remote position, a work from home case management position, and I had accepted it. It was a pay cut, but I had accepted it. I was like, this is fine, I'll work from home. At least I'll be home when my kids get out of school. Like, I'll be able to do like housework and, you know, all that. Like, I'll be at home. And then so I found out the wound care nurse was leaving, and she was kind of back and forth on whether she was leaving, she's not leaving, is she leaving, no, she's not leaving. And so finally she did make the decision to leave. So before she even put in her 2 weeks, I had already told my DON, I was like, if she leave, I want her spot. And I wanted her spot because wound care is hourly, and it's because you don't have anybody else working under you. Now, when you have like people that are working under you, like say I was ADON and I got charge nurses and CNAs that work under me, that's why my position was salary. But in wound care, it's just you. Like, you are the wound care team. And at this particular facility, we have 2 wound care nurses because we got 2 different buildings. So it's me and my friend D. We both do wounds. I do wounds in the north. He does wounds in the south. So we both started off as ADONs, and then we acquired the wound care nurse positions. So that's what I do now. I am a wound care nurse. I'm an hourly paid nurse. I really, really love wound care. I just got certified last month. My administrator paid for me to get certified. We round with the doctor once a week. It used to be on Wednesdays, I would go to work at 2 a.m. We would round, and by 6 a.m. we'd be done. I would go home, get my kids ready for school, come back to work, throw in my wound care orders for the week, do my skin assessments, and then I would peace out for the day. So I used to love that because I always got off early on Wednesdays. Of course, I would be tired, so I would sleep the rest of the day until my kids got home. But they ended up changing that. They said it was a resident dignity issue, that we were waking them up in the middle of the night. But to be honest with you, some residents don't really freaking sleep like that, so they will already be up expecting us. But so she changed her hours to Tuesdays, so now we round on Tuesdays in the afternoon, which is a pain in my ass because you got to go find people. Some folks are going to dialysis. Some folks are like doing activities. Some people are asleep. Some people are up in the chair. Like, it's and they got wounds on their butt, so you got to get them back in the bed. It's just a headache, but we try our best. So today's Tuesday, so it is rounding day. She doesn't come until about like noon, which is why I have time to like run my errands and, you know, work on some other stuff if I don't have errands to run. Hence why I'm in the car right now taking my dog to the vet, because I know she's not coming till noon. So I'll just take like my lunch break in the morning, and then the rest of the day I'm at work. So I'll probably be at work till like 6 today, because I don't really start working until about anywhere between 12 and 2. So that's what I do now. I live in Dallas. I am a wound care nurse. I still do some things as ADON, but they're no longer hiring for an ADON in the position that I was in. So I still help out with some of the ADON things. The only thing I don't like about this position is the on-call. And that's because the on-call isn't really on-call. Because the facility I work for is such a big facility, it's like 200 plus residents. There's a lot of hallways, a lot of people that need to be taken care of. And so we have 2 buildings. And so there's always openings, because as you know, people claim there's a nursing shortage, but it's not. It's just more people are needing care, and we don't have enough nurses. And the nurses aren't being paid enough money to even staff, you know, places. So of course there's always holes in the schedule. But the way that this place does on-call is when it's your on-call day, you work whatever spot is open. And then when it's your on-call weekend, not only do you work open spots, but you take the staffing phone and the schedule, and you not only have to work the open spots, but you got to staff the building as well. And I think that is total bullshit. I don't care about working the open spots, but having to take the phone and staff the building, like say, like my first time when I was on call for the weekend, I got this phone with all these employees' numbers in it. I have an empty ass schedule for the next day, and I didn't get any training on what I was supposed to be doing. So of course I'm like, well, you know, I gotta fill in these names, I gotta figure out who coming to work. And on top of that, I had to work double shifts. So not only did I work from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, I had to figure out, you know, I had to answer that phone if people called in the middle of the night. I had to answer the phone like while I'm working the floor. If somebody's crashing, phone's ringing, like it was just a hot mess. And I just don't think that's the way that it's supposed to be run, but you know, who am I? So anyways, so yeah, that's how it goes. And I really hate when it's my own call weekend, but I deal with it. They pay me well to deal with it. So I can't believe that store is closing. Wow. I got an Ulta over here. Oh, it's almost 10, so they're about to open. I'm about to see. So I'm about to drop the dog off, but I'm about to see how long it's gonna take, because if it's not gonna take that long, then I'm going to just wait for her. So I'm gonna just wait for them to do what they need to do, and then take her to the resort where she's gonna be staying while we go to Florida. So that's the other thing I want to talk to y'all about, is we're going to Florida this weekend with my family. It's a family trip to Florida. We're going to Destin. So by the time y'all see this, we'll probably have already been and be back by the time I edit this and put it out. But I just wanted to give y'all an update on, actually, China. I know, it's PetSmart. She's like, what we doing here? I know, girl. So I just want to give y'all an update on my life. Now we can actually start the vlog. Please don't be disappointed in me. Yes, I failed nursing school twice. But the good news is I'm going back to nursing school, right? So I finally got my courage up. I got my courage together to go back to nursing school. And so I applied to a school and they accepted me. And the program starts July 5th. And I'm super excited. My cousin's going to the same school, so I was like, maybe if I had somebody to go with me, you know, it'll be better. So I do have to test out of a math class, so I am in the midst of studying for a math class. Stop, China. My math class expired. I took it over 5 years ago, or over 10 years ago, I think. 5 years ago. And so it expired, so they were going to put me in this math class, but I want to test out of it. So I've already paid for a CLEP test. I've already scheduled it, so I'm going to be studying for that. So I'll, you know, make a little video about that. I'll probably incorporate that into this vlog. But since the dog is going crazy, I'm going to catch y'all in a little bit. Let me finish taking care of her, and then I'll come back. I'm still working on the wound report. I'm doing my building first, and then I'm gonna do the other building. I know this morning I said we split it up, but the other wound care nurse is on the floor today as the med aide. We're both on call, but he wanted to work on the floor and pass pills, so he did the whole SOC, so I'm gonna do the whole wound report. But we did just get word that the state just walked into our building. So I've been up and down, like doing rounds out in the hallway, talking to the CNAs if I see any family, talking to the families, and all of that, and just making sure everybody has what they need. And so far I haven't heard anything, but this is probably the first facility that I've worked at where the state comes almost every couple weeks. The resident population here is a little difficult, just because they call the state a lot. If they don't get their way, we could be providing every service to them, but if they feel like they've been slighted in any type of way, if there's an accident or a self-report, the state will come. And so I do believe that there was a self-report, so that's probably why they're here. They haven't asked to see any type of wound care documents or anything. So I'm trying to put the wound care report in for this week. I'm trying to put it in real quick just because they're up here in this building. So that's what I've been working on when you saw me on the computer. So this is the rest of my building. And then this is the building, the other building. And I haven't even started on that one. So I'm probably gonna do my building, take a break, and then do that building, take a break, and then start on my schoolwork. But I just wanted to come and update y'all and let y'all know what time it is. It's almost, well, it is 9:30 now. Finishing up my coffee, and I got my Stanley cup full of water, so I'm gonna drink that here in a second. So yeah, so far it's a good day. They haven't asked for anything, haven't needed anything from me. I'm about to run to the bathroom real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and get back to work. So I will talk to y'all in a little bit. guys, good morning. I am on my way to my fitting for my scrubs for clinical and for lab. So I wanted to what did I want to do? I wanted to record for you guys just because I want to have nursing school content. It's kind of hard to film nursing school content when you're not like physically at school every day. I guess I could do like some, study with me type of things, and I'll probably do that. My energy is a little low this morning because I'm not really feeling well, but I had to pull myself together because I have to go to this fitting. I've rescheduled it 3 times, so I have to go to this fitting. I don't have a choice. I didn't go to work today because I wasn't feeling well. It's a Thursday, so I don't have that many wound care patients. So yeah, I need to stop by Starbucks and get some, like a bagel or something. I'm having tummy issues since I got back from Mexico on Monday. Today's Thursday, so I've been having stomach issues ever since then. Last night was like the worst of it, and I think the other part is I haven't been eating that well, so my stomach is just doing some things. I cannot eat the same things I used to eat, so I'm just trying to figure life out from there. I think I'm gonna go to the Starbucks down here because I don't want to have to go all the way off of 67 if my GPS isn't going to take me that way. My fitting is at 10. It's 9:14. It only takes me about 35 minutes to get over there. And of course, it's not a class, so you don't have to be there right at 10. I'm sure there will be other people that are there trying them on with me. And I think you can buy them like right then. You just need to get the right size. And they're not that expensive. They sent us the pricing list, and for 4 sets of scrubs, so you need 2 for lab and 2 for clinical, 4 sets of scrubs are $107. And other schools that I've been to, they've been like upwards of $250 to $300 because you have to have the embroidery and all of that. And it was at a scrub store that was down the street from my school, and so they had like a contract going or whatever. So I've bought so many school uniforms. Y'all know this is my 3rd attempt in an RN program. I do feel like I'm going to be successful this time around. So I'm just trying to keep my head above water at this point. I haven't turned in any assignments. All of my initial discussion posts are due today, so I have to get those done. It just sucks because I just don't feel well, but you got to fight through it. I did get my first 0 because I turned in a concept map late, and they don't accept late work, so I got a 0. And which I'm not upset about, to be honest. Like, I knew I turned it in late. I tried to turn it in Sunday night before 9:59, but of course I was on vacation in Mexico for my anniversary, and you can't access Canvas or anything outside of the US. And I actually was doing the concept map in the airport. I was doing the concept map in the airport. We had a 3-hour layover in Miami, and I was trying to, hurry up and get it done. But by the time I got to like the last box, it was time to board. So I was just like, okay, well, I should be able to do it like while we're up in the air. And when we got up in the air, the internet was just not working. So I got a 0 for that. I'm not like, super upset about it or anything. I can't change it, so I'm just not settling there on it. Like, I can't change any of it. So I'm just at the point where I'm like, it is what it is. And I'll just do better next time. I'll just make sure that all of my work is done before I go out of town. And which, for the most part, all of my work was complete. It was just that concept map. And I didn't look at what was due that week, or I would have spent way more time on the concept map than I did with anything else. So I just need to be mindful of, you know, what I'm doing. But like I said, I took off today because, well, I called out of work today, really because I don't feel well, but secondly because of my mental health. I've wanted to call out every day this week, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I haven't been feeling well. I'm not sure. Normally I can just kind of get through my day and be okay, but I've just been like super overwhelmed with things. So I don't know. I guess like because I planned an anniversary trip right when school was starting, and I thought the kids were going back like on the 17th, but they were actually going back on the 14th, which is a big difference, you know what I mean? So I was stressed out about that, trying to make sure they had everything for school. So I got that done, try to make sure I got all of my assignments done, try to make sure my house is clean. I got all my stuff packed, and then we went to Mexico, had a great time, and now I'm back and I don't feel well. And it's just, you know, it's a lot. Like, life is just happening at this point. But anyways, I feel really cute today. I didn't put on any makeup. I just put on this white bodysuit, and I got on like some tan shorts and tan shoes. I just put on my normal gold jewelry. I just got this Louis Vuitton bracelet. I got it from Fashion File because I can't find this on the website. It's one of those older Louis Vuitton monogram prints, the colorful one, and I thought it was so cute, so I got it from Fashion File for like $400, something like that. I really like Fashion File because you can put things on reserve and just pay it over time, especially if it's something like super, what the hell is that? Especially if it's something like super expensive and you want it, like you want to reserve it, but you know you don't have the money right now. It's a good way to, I don't know.
And are you in the bridge program?
Uh-huh.
These are just little badge buddies that kind of
cool.
list what program you're
Yeah.
in. So I do have your badge. And I know they've posted this everywhere, but I always reiterate, you know, once you are on campus, labs, clinicals, testing, just even class, you'll have to have your badge on you every day.
Right.
And it is a $20 fee to have it replaced.
Okay.
Let me show you our scrubs. You can set your stuff down here.
Alrighty.
So there are two different types of scrubs. There are our lab scrubs, which only...
Alright, y'all, so these are the scrubs for lab. These ones are for clinical, so I'm gonna go try these on and see how they fit, and then we'll purchase. So give me just a second. Alright, I'm gonna step over here and try them on, and then I'll show y'all what they look like. Just fit like the Grey's Anatomy ones. So this is just too tight for my liking. I could go with this, but I think I'm gonna size up one more because I don't like how tight it is. So I gotta size up one more in both of these. Alright, so I like the large top. I just need extra large bottoms in this color. then, of course, I'm going to be working out and stuff. So, I'm probably gonna do my first workout of the